Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In this video, me and my teammates will be presenting about our extended essay with the title of Waste is Detrimental to Humankind Due to its Impacts on Organism and Ecosystem. So our group consists of three members, which are Mohd Faris, Muhammad Haikal, and me, Suhaimi bin Mazlan. So what is food waste? Food waste is the food that is still edible but thrown away before it being consumed. According to United Nations Environmental Programme, approximately 1.3 billion tons of the production of food for human consumption is lost and discarded every year. The issue of food waste has attracted many people interest because of its various impacts on economics, social, and also environmental. So the initiative in reducing food waste can be classified in Sustainable Development Goal 12, which promote sustainable production and consumption towards those that are more environmentally friendly. Next, let's proceed to the first main idea of this extended essay, which is food waste has potential to spread disease. Poor management of food waste can cause pollution on the landfill, giving negative health impact to the nearby residents. This is because the pollutants that are released during the fermentation stage of the food waste can expose the nearby population to a chemical and also microbial dangers. Other than that, disease transmission can occur when the contaminated food waste is fed to animals without being heated beforehand. So Terpstra and Wensford noted that several animal disease outbreaks like American swine fever and also foot and mouth disease are caused by the swill feeding. Feeding swill to the animals has its own disadvantage, which when we doing it, it it can provide the risk of transmitting disease to the human and animal, as the food waste is well known to contain microbial diseases. So next, uh, we will continue the second main point, second idea with Brother Faris.
I am Mohd Faris and I will be presenting the second main topic, which is food waste degradation can cause climate change. Uh, as food waste degrade, by time it will produce several dangerous gases like carbon dioxide and methane gas. These gases will then cause global greenhouse effect towards the earth. It was accounted that about uh, of global a quarter of the global greenhouse gas emission comes from food waste. Do you know that approximately about 1 kilogram food waste uh, release to 2.5 kilogram of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. So, for the food waste that ends up in the landfill, it will generate methane gas, which is 25 times more dangerous than and more hazardous than carbon dioxide. As this gas continuously emitted to the atmosphere, it can cause global warming. This hot temperature or extreme weather can cause several difficulties towards the people, including the animals on the earth. Okay, for the next main point, it will be presented by Brother Haris. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, thank you to Brother Muhammad Faris for giving me a chance to continue the discussion. So, I will continue the presentation for the third point, which is food waste can lead to food chain changes in the ecosystem. So the equilibrium of food chains is actually very important as it balances the biodiversity. But when food waste appears, it will cause the number of producers, which is the green plant, to increase, and causing the second consumers to be completely expelled from the food chain equilibrium. Like for example, when food waste is being thrown out in one place, it will attract the wildlife, and they will start to compete and killing each other to obtain food and territory. So this has shown that even a slight change in the food chain can bring a lot of impact to the ecosystem and thus diminishing the biodiversity. And other than that, food waste can also lead to the changes of the behavior, habitat use, carrying capacity of the wildlife. uh, Undoubtedly, the presence of food waste can actually bring good to them because it will lessen the burden for them in hunting and finding their food. But little do we know that food waste will make the ecosystem unbalanced as it makes them more dependent on the food waste, and they will start to come to the residential area. So, wildlife and human conflicts could lead to negative impacts because it can cause loss of property, livelihood, and even worse, loss of life. And it can also lead to negative impact for the wildlife because when they come to the residential area, the human will harm them. The human will start to hunt them down, and they will be killed. So, I will continue by the discussion for the conclusion. To conclude the discussion that we are having just now, we can state that food waste really does bring harm to the mankind and also the environment. The increasing number of the food waste has shown to lead the spreading of diseases, emitting dangerous gases, and also interrupting the wildlife ecosystem. The pollutants that are released from the food waste can expose the Earth's inhabitants to acute chemical and microbiological risks. And also, poor food waste management undoubtedly can cause the pollution in the landfill, posing health risks and disrupt the biodiversity. So it is us to start taking a step and to make changes for the better of the humankind and also the environment. And there are several easy ways that we can take and that we can implement in our daily life to reduce the food waste. And the first one is shop smart. We can make a list when we want to buy groceries in the supermarket. And next, we can store food appropriately. Uh, by doing this, we can prevent the food from being spoiled very fast and quickly. And the last one is we can utilize the food waste in other way, which is we can use the food waste as an organic fertilizer, and we can compost the food waste so that it will convert to gases and will form another source of energy. Thank you, Brother Haris. For the Islamic perspective, in the Quran, Allah warns us not to be wasteful, as He do not like those who are being excessive. And He also mentioned that uh, the correction are from the human itself, and He will bring down the consequences upon their own action. So that's all from the two of us. I hope you enjoy, and thank you for watching.